the other turns okay? I was trying to keep it in the middle.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Under my legs I have the wonderful 2021 BMW S1000RR. This thing is an absolute monster.
We're back to discuss the 2021 S1000RR.
Yep.
Picked her up back in June, beginning of June, and not gonna lie, my first impressions of the motorcycle were not that great. I would say lukewarm. Yep. Would be the right kind of term. The fit and finish of that bike, there are a few things that I don't like in terms of fit and finish, the plastic levers, the hard plastic levers, but everything else, the swing arm, the swing arm is gorgeous. Yeah. Like everything else is gorgeous.
It's carbon fiber is just.
It's what you would right, and that is an option. That's I think it's like a $1,500 option or something like that to get it. Yeah. It is kind of unique for that kind of color scheme, doing the silver with the black. the silver with the carbon fiber and the forged wheels. It's grown on me, and I think that's the story of the bike in and of itself. Is that the bike has grown on me as I've gotten more saddle time on the bike and learning about adjusting the suspension, learning about what you can and can't do in terms of rider adjustability. Now it got me to a point where I'm like, it is now more than sufficient on the road for me. Albeit having to tweak certain things, and you know what? That's a perfect segue. Is the electronic suite that come with that bike, really right? The electronic suite is crazy cool. Oh, yeah. That screen is just absolutely so cool.
It is something out of like a Tesla. Like it is. Yeah. It is just perfect. Like it's
gorgeous.
So nice.
It's gorgeous, and going to the little sport mode thing where you can see your lean angles, you can see your braking pressure. Obviously, on the track, you're probably not paying attention too much to it, but sometimes when you hot pit or you get off, and you can see like, oh man, like here's how much I actually really did brake, or did I really get to 50%? Did I really get to 50% lean angle? So kind of cool things, and sometimes it's a game with me here now. Like when I'm out on the road, I'm like, let me see if I can get it to 40. Let me see if I can get a 42, whatever. And then going into that, so you got the sport mode things, and then you have the electronic suspension, right? The totally adjustable from the screen, right? From the inputs.
So let's talk about the suspension, as I like to harp on all the time on any motorcycle. We got Marzocchi front forks. We got, I think it's the same rear. Fully electronic, fully adjustable. At first, out of the box, this was a very rough riding motorcycle, meaning, ooh, somebody's barbecuing over there. Nice. Smells good. So, I'm gonna tell you right now, out of the box, this motorcycle, it's stiff. Really stiff, at least for me. So you really have to play around with the suspension settings and the tire pressures too, frankly, to get this thing riding nice, right? Get the suspension moving and working for you, and especially around here, I have some pretty technical turns and whatnot, and roads aren't in the best condition. So the 2021 BMW S1000RR is powered by a 1000cc inline 4. It's good for around 200 horsepower, and this thing is a gem. It is so smooth, so smooth. Going into my favorite turn here. Oh yeah. Now I do have a gripe with the engine as it is stock. The engine management for the US spec motorcycles give it a very flat torque curve, around 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 RPMs, which frankly is disappointing.
The biggest gripe I have with the bike is the stock ECU tuning. Garbage.
Yeah.
Dog shit. Garbage. Second gear, you're trying to give it the business, and it was like, 3,000 RPM, it's garbage. I'll overlay a stock dyno of the S1000RR in the United States. So this is the US spec ECU tuning.
Yep.
It's like a massive, like just dead spot in the dyno, and then it kind of peaks up. The Euro specs, just a normal European, like if I go to England or Portugal and go buy a double R there, completely different. That torque curve is nice and linear throughout. Like tuned a lot differently, because I guess here for emissions and all that,
I guess.
Fine, whatever.
Super disappointing that I already have to spend $800, $900 to get this thing tuned, right? To eliminate the flat spot, make this thing what it should have been from the factory.
You got a kind of like a bit of a neutered product in that sense. So I got it flashed again. Huge shout outs to Max BMW. I went with their in-house tuning solution, as opposed to going through, I know Bren Tuning does a lot of great work with the S1000RR and other bikes, but I was there already. They know it. That's why they offer it. And so like that, something goes wrong, it's like, hey, it's the dealer's fault at this point, or it's on the dealer.
The fact that they do that, and it doesn't void the warranty, kind of lets you know that they understand what's happening.
They understand what's happening, so they offer it, and it was like $800. Yeah. So that's fine.
But so we got stiff out the box.
Yep.
The electronics when you go into rider mode you don't like, and then the tire pressure, and then the tuning. Right?
And the four things.
There's four things you didn't like about it. Let's talk about the good.
So the good.
I'm telling you, that bike, man.
So the good only really came out when we went to Palmer.
Yeah.
And I got on it after, I think it was towards the afternoon, so right before lunch. Yeah. I put the Ducati aside, and I'm like, let me ride the BMW.
He wasn't even going to take it out. I think you were like on that fence of like, I don't even know if I want to ride this thing. Like, I don't, because it is a lot of money. And if you were going to, you were at the point where you were like, maybe I want to send this back. So, like, if I take this out and I risk damaging it while I'm out there. And I was, dude, you got to give it the chance. Like, you got to, like, you bought it, you took it out. Like, everybody's saying it's top dog. Gotta give it just a, let's just see what it, give it a 15-minute lap.
And I did, and
you came back like, dude, I remember I saw your face when you came back. You were like, holy, this is it. I was like, yes!
It was on the track. That's where it made the impression on me, because on the track, that's where the buttered rail.
Oh my god!
It's like being on a rail. And somebody just took freaking Crisco and just sprayed it, and that's how you felt on the track, riding along, dipping into turns, getting into turns, braking. That's where that bigger tank came into play, right? As I'm getting a handful of brake, set myself up, posturing, squeeze to get out, to do body position. It was like, it became just so nice. It was that's where it's easy to go fast on that thing.
You didn't even go back to Ducati after that.
I finished up the entire thing on the BMW because it was less fatiguing to ride.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it was less fatiguing. It does everything that the Ducati does, and we'll go to the comparisons, but without the theatrics, without the hair on fire, like holy crap type of thing, right? And so, like, again, Palmer is a very technical track, right?
Very
beat you up,
physically
demanding track.
We were so tired afterwards.
Yeah,
we work out like we.
You fucking fell asleep.
All the time.
You fucking passed out.
I got home and I literally took a shower and I was just dead.
We were dead.
I was so tired.
Crazy elevation changes, and the line it's a very technical race line, but that BMW, man, and I can't wait to take it out on another track but that thing was stupendous.
I'm telling you, I wish you guys had seen his face when he came back like that. I remember I didn't go, because we were in 2 different sessions. So then when you came back, you took off your helmet, you're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah. We always talk about how just pleasant it can be. Well, it's a pleasant bike to ride, right?
It's a
BMW
rider's bike.
It's a rider's bike. I think that's the term people have been giving it. It's like it's the rider's bike. People who are in the motorcycle crowd and the scene, and they appreciate and understand what the BMW S1000RR brings to the market, right? Excellent performance. Well, let's just back that up. Let's caveat excellent performance with a big asterisk, right? Upon flashing to where it should have been to begin with. Yeah. And this bike isn't going to kill you. It really isn't going to kill you. This bike, out of the box, anybody can ride this bike. In my opinion, I think anybody can ride this bike out of the box because of the engine management and torque management and everything that it has.
Yep.
I think anybody can ride the bike out of the box. So, went back. I really had a hard time finding a pairing for this, but then I realized, I was like, I forgot about this whiskey, and I had it a few times before, and that's why I was like, hey, swing by and come pick it up. Yeah. So one of my favorites, this is Balcones Lineage single malt. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you remember anything that I taught you about whiskey. It's single malt with an asterisk here, because in the U.S., right, you can't call it single malt Scotch.
Right. Because it's not made. Okay.
Not made in Scotland.
This is American. Okay. This is your take on it.
This is their take on it, right? So this is Balcones is out from Waco, Texas. Yep. Texas distilleries are really getting popular, for better or worse, because prices go up, but better maybe because of getting more bottles, right? Getting more availability and selection outside of Texas, which is pretty cool. They pump out some awesome stuff. However, a lot of their stuff typically lends itself to punch you in the face, oily, it's going to get after you. Yeah. Kind of like the Ducati, right? Yeah. Kind of like the Ducati. Ducati's ready to punch you in the face. But they have a few whiskeys, this one and their pot still bourbon, that aren't. They are at a price point, and they're at a certain proof and price point to be widely available, but also be super approachable. But also add this depth and just a depth of flavor and character that it's kind of tough to get at this price point sometimes, right? So that's why I chose this one, because I remember it being being pretty complex, and for the price point, you can't go wrong. Back to single malt, right? So one distillery, 100% barley. Remember, you're talking about malt being barley, malt. Yeah. In the U.S., you can kind of switch that up because it could be malted wheat and stuff like that, but for the most part, barley, 100% malted barley. Pot stilled, so these just think of these just massive stills. They look like, I don't know, they look like this. They're in the bottom, they kind of come up to it.
Throw a picture up there.
Yeah, it's like, I'll put a picture up there. I was trying to find maybe a bottle that sort of mimics it, but kind of like this, but rounder at the bottom, and it comes up to the top, right? So pot distilled. So what does that mean? All the congeners, when they distill, all the congeners and stuff like that, it retains a lot of the oils and congeners. So when you distill it, so what you're left with is a very clingy whiskey, a very deep, clingy whiskey. Yeah. There's a lot of the quote unquote, what a lot of people would say, impurities make its way to the final spirit. So what you get is a whiskey that sort of clings on you. You drinking it, right? You kind of feel to the top of your mouth, a little bit in the back of your neck, right? Mm-hmm. The kind of like the remnants of the whiskey that are still hanging out in the back of your throat.
Right at the tip of my tongue.
And the tip of your tongue as well, right? I still have it in the back. So this one, they're single malt. Right off the bat, when I nose this, I get, they call it malty, like a malty note, but like, it's almost like a little bit of butterscotch. There is like there's a fruit tone. Almost get like a peach, a little bit of with the butterscotch. Super good. Super nice nose.
I do like this. This is actually really nice. I'm gonna have to stop and get another bottle.
Oh, that's where I get peach. I get like you bite into the peach with a little bit of the skin, that kind of texture.
Yeah.
As I bite into it, well, not this, but as I bite into a peach, I kind of get that, almost like maybe even a dried peach or like a dried apricot, somewhere around there. It's in that ballpark. See how dark it is?
Oh yeah.
In the bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Texas heat.
Oh, is it really?
It's a Texas heat, man. Remember I told you about barrels and how heat affects barrels?
Yep.
Right? So something can be out there for like 3 years and it could be just as dark as like a 12-year-old scotch.
Oh.
Because of just how hot the barrels get, right?
Makes sense.
The barrels get hot, right? Into the barrel, right? It gets cool.
Yep.
Out, in and out, and there you go. That's how you
Makes
have
sense.
it. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. I think that's a wrap.
Yep.
It's 7,000 degrees outside, even though I don't want to go outside and start doing work, but we're going to have to. But so stay tuned for the CBR 1000 review. That's going to be coming up at some point in the future. I don't know when. I got to do some scheduling with the actual motorcycle owner. So this is an 06 Honda CBR 1000R. Great year for that bike. So I'm very excited to just take it out and see what it's got. And so that'll be fun.
I love that year. It's like my favorite looking CBR year.
Yeah. Then we got the Ducati Multistrada. 06 Ducati Multistrada. This is like the 06.
I've never ridden a bike like that. I gotta feel it. Like it looks just comfortable. Like it looks like you're just gonna be riding it. You know.
Let's just say this: it's comfortable, but it's a Ducati.
Okay, you know what? It's a good point.
Think nuts and bolts clanging around on the clutch side because it's a dry clutch.
Yeah.
But we'll do a little. Maybe we'll have a little fun with that one. Maybe not a full-on review, but we'll have a little fun with that one. So we got that one coming up, and then I'm gonna focus a little more on the whiskey side of the house as the weather starts turning colder.
Yep.
Obviously, we got plenty of source material here to work with, but I'll be bringing on other guests that kind of share the whiskey knowledge as well. So
enthusiasm for whiskey.
Do the whiskey. They bring in the whiskey knowledge, so we're going to do that. And if you haven't already, please like, and just hit the subscribe button. I just need 100. That's all I need, and I'm a happy guy. Then that's it. We could just all right, that's it. No more subscribers at 100.
Yeah.
This is you can do your custom URL, I think, after 100 subscribers.
Yeah. Something
like that.
Yeah.
And then
can you do this custom screenshots of what you want to show as your thumbnail?
you can do that right now.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, again, it's not, maybe it's a little bit of laziness, but it's also because it's a kind of a one-man show in terms of editing, so I do my best where I can. So, but we'll get 100 subscribers and we're there.
Oh, nice.
So, all right, guys. Later.
See you.
Later.
Dude, if you could do a thumbnail,